Well, this has been unique. Some of the games have been blowouts, some have been phenomenal, some have been boring. But I'll tell you what, the Final Four in college football, they're pretty doggone good. Let's talk about what's happening. Game one, this will be the Orange Bowl. This will be Notre Dame. This will be Penn State. This will be old school football. These two teams just play roughhouse defensive football. I don't know how the quarterbacks are going to move the football. I don't know how they're going to be able to run the football. The Irish and the Nittany Lions are rolling. Riley Leonard, Jeremiah Love, that's Notre Dame's offense. But Riley Leonard is not a big-time playmaker. He's more of a grinder as the Irish's quarterback. Jeremiah Love is an explosive running back. Remember, had a 98-yard touchdown run in the first playoff game for Notre Dame. And he's just coming off an injury. He's got 1,076 yards on the ground. He's really good. But obviously, the Irish defense is what has gotten them there. Marcus Freeman has built something really special in South Bend. The fact that they choked Georgia when they beat them, they held Georgia to 62 yards rushing. That's how good the Irish are defensively. Penn State, I think it's the best defense they've had in years. And historically, they've been a great defensive football team. Penn State has allowed only 100 yards per game running the entire season average. They shut down Ashton Genty and Boise State. Penn State's offense, Drew Allar, statistically has had an unbelievable year, almost 3,200 yards and 24 touchdowns. They do go down the field. They got the best tight end I think modern college football has ever seen in Ty Warren. He's got 98 receptions, and they had two running backs last week that ran for 167. And it's interesting. James Franklin has this thing kind of carries around his neck. Can't win big games. Well, he's won playoff games, but they haven't played elite teams so far in the playoffs. James Franklin is only 3-10 against top 10 teams. Well, he's playing a top 10 team tonight when Penn State meets Notre Dame. So I just think this is going to be old school football. This is going to be line of scrimmage football. The guy that wins in the trenches in this game on Thursday night is going to win the Orange Bowl and go to the college football finals. So, John, what do you think? The Irish versus the Nittany Lions.
You know, to be honest, I haven't followed these two teams as closely as I have a lot of the others, but it is nice to see, you know, we were always thinking it was going to be Oregon and a lot of these other like top-rated top 3 teams. Where was Notre Dame in the rankings? I mean, they were top 10, but not in the top half of the top
they
10.
were high, and then they lost one game to Northern Illinois, and they kind of clawed their way back into it. But you know, that Northern Illinois game was a long time ago, and they've won every game since that point in time. So they're the real deal.
Isn't Northern Illinois going into the Mountain West?
Yeah.
So a Mountain West team beat Notre Dame? Well, then it's got to be the Nittany Lions, right? I mean, they're the ones that are going to win. But, you know, when I think of Penn State, I think of Joe Paterno and the history there. So I still am trying to warm up to this new team.
I think Penn State wins this game. Penn State, I think, is more physical, probably has a little bit more firepower than Notre Dame does. So that's the Orange Bowl on a Thursday night. Cotton Bowl on Friday night. Holy cow. So Ohio State looked different now than Ohio State looked during the course of the season. Can you believe Ohio State lost 2 games during the regular season? Boy, have they just come together as a football team. And Ryan Day's got a defense that just is playing on the edge. And he's got Chip Kelly as his brilliant offensive coordinator. And they have now dialed into the fact they're throwing the football down the field all the time. They come out of the tunnel going deep. Will Howard has finally really grown into a star quarterback. They've kind of unshackled him. He's thrown for 4,120 yards going into this game on Friday night, 37 touchdowns on the season. Jeremiah Smith has got 83 receptions, is averaging 14 yards per catch. Emeka Egbuka, he's got 80 receptions. He's averaging 11 yards per catch. Those two guys are just making big plays after big plays. They got 2 running backs and combined for 1,942 yards rushing for the Buckeyes. And they have the number 1 pass defense in the country, giving up just 152 yards per game. Ohio State has all the bases covered. Holy cow. This is big-time firepower football. And they're going to play Texas. And Sarkisian has done a great job. And Quinn Ewers has had a strong season at quarterback for the Longhorns. But the problem is they're not running the football. I don't see that Texas has the firepower to match bullets with what Ohio State's got. Texas's defense is superb. There's no doubt about it. I mean, in terms of line of scrimmage play, in terms of tackles for losses, in terms of takeaways, opposing teams in the playoffs are 13 for 36 on third down against Texas's defense. Texas is really good defensively. I just don't know that Texas has anywhere near enough offense. So you got the Buckeyes going downfield. Thank you, Chip Kelly. And you got Texas's guys. Can they hold up? I just don't see this as being as close as other people are. Now, the game is being played in Dallas in the Cotton Bowl. Home field advantage. It's going to be interesting to see how many people are wearing scarlet and gray in the state of Texas rather than Longhorn orange. I got Ohio State winning this game, and I think it's going to be more lopsided than anybody realizes. So therefore, I'm saying Ohio State, Penn State, Big Ten championship. You
Yeah, it
kidding
always
me?
comes back to the Big Ten.
Didn't
Yeah.
somebody tell me once upon a time the SEC owned college football?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody playing for the SEC?
Well, Texas is.
No.
But and Texas is the first time in the SEC. So, you got to congratulate Texas for making it this far. And yeah, they got a great draw with the Cotton Bowl right in their home state. That's going to be great. But I don't see anybody stopping Ohio State. And Will Howard is really showing us something.
Yeah. I mean, and Chip Kelly has just found the key, turned on the ignition. This thing is like a Maserati going down the highway right now. So I think it's going to be fun. I don't know if I should use the word anticlimactic because we've had so many really cool marquee games in college football this year. I just have a sense the semifinals are going to be anticlimactic because I do think Ohio State's just got way too many bombs for Texas to cope with. And I just don't see Notre Dame being able to keep up with all the things that Penn State has.
You are like such a negative Nancy on this whole college football thing. Oh, there's going to be blowouts and it's not going to be good to watch. You know what, man? That Arizona State game against Texas was fantastic.
Yep.
Hopefully these turn into really marquee games. And then, we got the NFL playoffs coming next, and this is going to be an unbelievable football weekend.
Okay, so that's college football. You have an opinion? Do you like the way this thing has worked out? Feel free to jump into the Fans Forum chat box and give us an opinion. We're going to try to get to as many of these as we can